Good morning, afternoon actually. Um, Today I'm being bipolar. Real talk too. I want to talk about some of the shit that I've been dealing with since the last post. I went through a hypomanic stage. I was up there. Ideas were going crazy. No sleep. Um, during during that time period, pardon me for listening to what's going on in my house at the same time, but I had to do this because I've been going through something today and past few days that just has made me withdraw. I've spent most of my time in this room, which is the mess that you see. It's like my cup. Well, it's not really that bad. I mean, I do my artwork here. I do my t-shirts here. I do my recording here. I grow my plants in here. The only thing I don't do in here, obviously, is cook. But I've been in this room like almost entirely for the past, I'd say, week since I started doing the whole stupid scary story thing. I've actually recorded like 20 of those things. I'm gonna do some more today because it's actually it's giving me a way to like tell stuff that's happening or has happened in my life in a comedic, fictional way. Although not all those stories are about my life. Some of them are kind of real, a little bit embellished, of course. But back to what I was saying, my bipolar bandits, and hopefully everybody can hear me better now. I went out and got a new mic so that the voices aren't so muffled and quiet. But one of the things I did want to discuss today is the feelings of isolation, the self-isolating that happens. And sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it. And when you do realize you're doing it, it's usually because I'm not even sure why, Nothing has really changed too much lately. I mean, things are actually pretty good. I mean, mental health wise, not too many people are bothering me, But then again, I'm not giving them the option of doing so. But I'm not exactly sure what it was. I know I told my homegirl, one of my best friends in the world, that I was going through it. I was like, yeah, this is the best time to get as much out of me as you can because right now I'm just like firing on all cylinders. But it's gonna crash. And I told him, I told her, I said, I'm gonna crash sooner or later. I don't know how bad it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be super depression or like major depression, or if it's just gonna be kind of a return to normal. Needless to say, it was a crash. It wasn't a terrible crash, but I'm not feeling as happy about shit right now. Actually, I feel like crying. I don't even know why, but I do. Like, and things are going well, and it's this fucking vicious cycle of things going bad in my life and me being happy, and things going well and then just me being so depressed. And it's like I can't capitalize on all the shit that I was doing because as soon as I crash, all of it stops. And it's doing, I was supposed to do a bipolar real talk yesterday, and here it is Thursday. So for all my bipolar bandits out there, I apologize if I let you down. And see, I do a lot of that apologizing shit. Like, I am sorry because I don't know if any of you were expecting to see something and didn't see it, so I let you down. And I won't do that again because I need sometimes. One thing, let's talk about something. Let's talk about a subject. Let's talk about acknowledgement. One of the things that people always yell at me about, and I'm always getting screamed on about it, is why do I need to be acknowledged? And that's a hard question for me to answer because I'm not 100% sure. Because it's not the type of acknowledgement you would expect. Like, I'll give you an example. I used to have a really good job. And I've always been able to get good jobs, great jobs, careers. But there's a problem. Is I am very good at a lot of what it is I do. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to downplay myself. I have talents. I have skills. I learn things. I read. I fucking hands-on. I do this, that, and the other. So I am proficient in things. So, I used to do a lot of logistics, shipping, receiving, warehouse management. So I was managing a warehouse for a solar company. I won't say the name. Set up the whole entire warehouse. I built equipment to do my job in small spaces. I mean, I had this fucking shit running like clockwork. I cut their shrink by $8,000 in a month. By 14 the next month. And the month after that, they actually made profit off the warehouse. Which, how are you making profit off of shit you buy? But see, me, I was taught you don't throw shit out. Little new screws, nuts, bolts, these things that they would come back with and just toss them all in the trash, scrap pieces of metal. I was like, no, what are y'all doing? These nuts and bolts are like 50 cents a fucking piece. You're throwing like 100 of them a day away. Well, how did you cut the shrink? Cut waste. It wasn't a theft issue, although there was some stealing going on. And that was quickly nipped in the bud without me having to snitch on anyone. But needless to say, it was always good when someone acknowledged what you did. Whether it was good or bad. Like, oh, that motherfucker, that was really fucked up what you did. And it's like, yeah, you acknowledge that. Good. Or, that was a great job. But see, a lot of times you'll get acknowledged for the bad shit and never for the good things. It's almost like people expect you to do good. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. But then, they don't acknowledge it. There's no thank you. There's no...
It looks like this device isn't registered. You can find setup instructions in the help section of your Alexa app.
How are you not set up? You fucking interrupted me when I'm fucking talking to people. It's very rude, Alexa. Stupid bitch. Anyway, now during my dark time this past week, I'm getting off track. We were talking about fucking acknowledgement. Anyway. So, it gets to a point in my life where I've always been put down. I've always been weird, oh, he's strange, or this, that, and the other. I've been made fun of by my own family. Here's a tidbit for you. This is gonna blow your fucking minds. I have never in my life been called a nigger by a white person. Or someone that's not black. Ever. In my life. I don't know what that feels like. And I don't even know what the fuck that has to do with what the fuck we're talking about. Acknowledgement. Back to the point. Acknowledgement. See, I got sidetracked. I like to be acknowledged for the good that I do. And I spend a lot of my time doing good for people, even though these people could give two shits less about me, simply because I want them to acknowledge it. And I will go to the edges of hell and back for these people, just so they can acknowledge it. And you know what I always get? Their ass to kiss. And to me, as fucked up as it sounds, that's acknowledgement. And it's changing the mindset that you need to be acknowledged by assholes that makes this such a hard thing. And not all of that's bipolar. Like, you got the empathy, whatever it is. Like, I feel sorry for people, even though I don't like them. Like, it is terrible. Like, I actually will feel genuinely bad. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I will literally feel bad about it, making sure nobody's calling me. And I will continue to allow these people to dog me out and trick me. And that has a little bit to do with the way I was brought up. I was brought up, love my grandmother to death. Don't like her sometimes, but I love her to death. But I was raised like a pit bull. I was told my mom didn't like me. She couldn't stand me, that she hated me. She was a drug addict. I was actually turned against my mother at a very young age. And I grew up with sort of like this false hatred for the mother that my grandmother pointed her out to be, which she wasn't. My whole entire life I grew up thinking my mom hated me. She was a drug addict. These things. And I grew up with my mom. But it goes to show that when you're mentally not prepared, and at a young age when you suffer trauma, and let's just throw it out there, people. I mean, since we're bearing all, but since I'm bearing all, I mean, it only makes sense that we know a little bit more about the guy who's talking to you. Why is he bipolar? Why does he have post-traumatic stress disorder? Why is he attention deficit and all this other shit? Why? What's the problem? What's wrong with this guy? Well, when I was 3, my youngest uncle, which is not that much older than me, maybe about 10 years, maybe less, he had a girlfriend, 15-year-old girl, used to come over the house. I'm not going to say any names because no charges were ever brought. And quite frankly, even though she ruined my life and the other piece of shit, I don't want to go out here and be one of those types of people, and I'm not putting these people down, but that knows that there's nothing that you're going to change about it except maybe getting money. I don't want money from this person. I don't want an apology from this person. In all honesty, I want them to die. I even, at one point when I was younger, about, let's say, freshman or... No, I think it might have been my senior year of high school. I had ran into this bitch downtown, seen her. And I was with a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, Carlos Perry. If you're out there, if you're watching this, love you, man. And I saw her, and my whole affect changed. Like, to the point where my friend, who I wasn't even saying nothing, didn't even know about this shit, sees my whole demeanor just change. Grabs me by my arm. He's like, yo, let's go. I don't know what he saw, but eventually he told me later, he said, dude, the way you was looking at that lady was like you was gonna kill her. Now, I had been in a little bit of trouble before. I've been in fights, a couple, nothing major, stupid little shit. I'm not some brawler. In fact, I don't like fighting. I don't like fighting not because I'm afraid that I'll get my ass kicked. Everybody can get their ass kicked. I'm afraid of me not wanting to stop, you know. But let me tie this all in. PTSD, why do I have it? I was sexually abused from the age of 3 to the age of 5 by a close family friend. Now, 3 years old, I'm going to fucking Catholic school. I'm already getting abused there. Fucking nuns hate me because my mom and dad weren't married. So, you know, they'd have these little meetings and prayer shit. And they would basically have these Monday, you know, the mass in the morning. The guy's walking around with the little fucking thing. You're sitting there in the seat. He's walking with the little urn, smoking. I don't know if any of you were born Catholic, but if you were, then you know what I'm talking about. If you went to Catholic school, you know what I'm talking about. Now, the reason I was born Catholic or went to Catholic school is because my father was an orphan and was raised in an orphanage until he ran away, and that made me Catholic. Anyway, back to it. So yeah, I suffered sexual abuse. I would come home from school, you know, kindergarten, whatever, and this bitch would pick me up and hug me and stick her tongue down my throat. Tongue kiss me, and I was young. It was weird, you know. Mom and dad didn't kiss me that way, so I was just like, felt a little odd. But I was a kid. She was older, so I didn't protest it. Actually, to be 100% honest with you, after the first year of it, it became normal. It was almost like I knew I was getting a kiss and fondled, and I was gonna get to fondle breasts and play with things that, at 3 years old, I didn't quite understand. Didn't know it was wrong. I didn't feel it was wrong. And this went on for, like I said, about 2 solid years. During that time period, there was a foster kid that lived there. It was a male. He had issues. And I used to spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house. If I had spent more time at my mom's house, none of this shit would have happened. But I hated my mother. You know, she didn't want me. So I was always in my grandmother's house. And, no, believe me, she did not. My mother wanted me. My mother loves me to death. So for anybody out there who thinks that my mom is a terrible person, if you came in this video halfway through and you hear me talking about my mom is a wonderful woman. She put up with a lot of shit from me over these years because she loves me. As much as I hated her, she loved me. And I still to this day can't wrap my head around that, you know, she loved me unconditionally like that, and I treat her so badly. I feel so guilty about it, and that drags me down sometimes, and I just think about it. But she never makes me feel that way. I make myself feel that way. Acknowledge me. So, you know, at first, you know, after the year went by and I realized this girl is my uncle's girlfriend. Like, does he know that she's fucking dealing with me. So, you know, I felt like I had to mention it. So I said something to my grandmother, who immediately told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. I was lying and made it up. And so I just said, fuck it. I buried it. It was buried in the back of my head, and it just buried. And then finally, eventually, I forgot that this shit even happened. Started having these really weird nightmares and dreams when I got to be about 13, 14, and they were just so real, and it just, I couldn't. And then finally it all came out. There was documents. This was known. This wasn't a hidden thing. Apparently, I finally said something to my mother. My mother investigated. She found out, and the girl moved on to my younger brother, who was like maybe 1, and tried to mess around with him. I was no longer her toy of choice. And so began my need of acknowledgement. And at first I didn't think it had anything to do with, you know, me not having, you know, being sexually abused. I didn't think that had anything to do with acknowledgement. But when you're tossed away and then nobody believes what happened, and you get tossed away by the person who showed you some type of affection or attention, and then you have people around who you feel should offer you the same attention and affection, who kind of just dismiss it. And then you grow up with this resentment, and then you start to believe the lies that other people told you, and then acknowledgement just becomes a thing, sort of like a pat on the back. Hey, and you'd be amazed at how far. I still remember something somebody told me when I was 18 years old. I moved out when I was 17. Moved out when I was 17. Lived in New Hampshire, and I was working for this guy, Scott Chesley. Chesley's sausages, and some fair dude, you know, who's out there. I was cleaning his car. It's the first time a white person ever said something racist, but he wasn't being racist. He said, I did not know that there were colored people in Connecticut. I was floored by this shit, obviously, because I'm like, holy shit, did he just fucking call me colored? Like, whoa! Never heard that. But he was raised in Alabama by a bigot father. So the fact that he just came out and said colored, as if it was normal, and not, oh, so are there niggers in Connecticut? I had to forgive that, you know, because he was asking a simple question. Man paid me well. Treated me nice. He trusted me, you know? So I was like, yeah, this guy's just been raised a certain way. And I forget what I was talking about. See, this is the problem. It's like my brain is going in so many different places right now because I feel like I'm probably bottoming, which is why you see kind of like tears welling up in my eyes. But back to the sexual abuse thing. PTSD, how I got it, that's why. And then the male doing what he did. No, I wasn't raped or anything. No, there was no penetration anally, so I wasn't sodomized. It was just a lot of... Doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter. Rape, sexual abuse. When you do it to a kid, you fuck their head up. And this is why I hate pedophiles. I hate pedophiles. I hate rapists. I hate sexual abusers of any kind for any age, because sexual abuse is sexual abuse and it fucks people up. Whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, whether you're a grown woman or an old person, it fucks you up. There's nothing better than having things forced on you that you don't want forced on you. It's just what it is. But it's even worse when you're a kid and you don't realize how fucked up it is. And then when you get older, there is the feelings of shame and guilt and the sexual stuntedness that sometimes you outgrow it, sometimes you don't. You know, sometimes you feel like a sexual deviant because you've been introduced to things at such a young age. Your ideas of certain things are skewed. Like, for instance, I hate receiving oral sex. Hey, there I said it. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's something I will never get over. And that's because of what this woman did when I was fucking 3 and 4. I mean, most kids will probably be like, oh God, a blowjob at 3 and 4 years old is the greatest. No, it's not. It's not the greatest because now I don't enjoy it. So see, fuck my whole shit up for life. Sorry. I didn't mean to get that adult with you, but hey, we're talking, right? So if I expect anyone here to take what I'm saying seriously, then I've got to bear all. I got to bear it all. Take my chances. Somebody's going to hate. You're going to get people that are going to talk shit. I expect it. You know, but that's been my life. So for anybody who decides they want to come in here and say something mean or say something cruel, a friend of mine said that you should think 3 times before you move your tongue. I very rarely do that, but maybe we should all practice this thinking 3 times before, or I'll think 4 times before moving my tongue. Because the words that you speak to someone, very insignificant to you, you may not even think that saying, oh, fuck you, buddy, is a huge thing, but to that person, it could affect them a certain way. And I'm not telling you to change you, because I've learned in life that changing yourself can often be, let's just put it this way. If you change, or if you are planning on changing, if you are trying to change, understand that in changing, you are going to lose people. Okay? You're going to lose people. I've noticed that people, most of the people that can't stand me now, who treat me like shit, my wife included, when I was at my worst, they were at their best. You know, I guess they wanted to be rescuers or enablers or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But when I would come home drunk, drinking in the morning, drinking at night, just drink. Drinking constantly. That's all I did was drink. Drink, smoke, drug. Yeah, I said it. Self-medication is a bitch. It's a fucking bitch. It takes you into a journey in which you never thought possible. And then the journey out of it is even worse. And see, the worst thing about self-medicating when you're bipolar, I gotta take this. It's my 92-year-old grandmother. Hello? Hello? Yes, Nana. You told me to put them in the cabinet over where the cups go. Where the cups go. No, I wouldn't do that. Got him?
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye. Yes, 92 years old and still baking cakes. Love her, but she's been probably one of the biggest products of my mental upbringing. One of the most influential. But, you know what? I guess we've had a family house. We own a 3-family tenement, so I guess my torture and pain is why I have a place to live. I mean, is it a fair trade? My mental well-being? No. Because it has led to problems with relationships. It's led to problems with... See, I'm the nicest dude in the world to a woman who treats me with respect. And I don't ask for much. I mean, I don't ask for much. You don't gotta cook. I love to cook. So I'm a cooking motherfucker. You know? You don't have to be overly affectionate. I ask for 3 things. Respect, love, and a little bit of attention. Simple. Doesn't mean you have to be nice all the time. Doesn't mean you have to be happy all the time. But if I'm not being respected, loved, or paid attention to, what the fuck is the point? And yes, people grow apart. It happens. But why is it that when one spouse feels that they're wrong? See, I look at it this way. If I was guilty about anything, then I would be making excuses as to why I need to leave this marriage. My thing is, I got married. Stupid as it may seem, I did. Now, thankfully, it's probably over. And I say thankfully because I'm tired of being tortured. I'm tired of it. And if my spouse doesn't want to be with me, then maybe they're tortured. I'm not blaming anybody. You know, shit happens. I could say a lot of really fucked up mean shit about my spouse, but I'm not going to do that. You know why? Because it takes 2 to fucking tango. And quite frankly, if it's over, I just want it to be over. It's in my mind, it's been over for the past fucking 5 years. You know, it's been over. And that's another thing. You know, spouses who think they are trying to help you. I'm not stupid. You know, if your spouse is trying to get out of a relationship with you and they keep bringing up your bipolar and you have kids, don't fall for whatever tricks they're trying to. Because telling them to get medicated and then reading things on sites like How to Live with an Ex While Divorced, sneaky little things that people do to bipolar people. Why do that? Because they think we're crazy. Or we won't understand that we don't want to be bothered. My thing is, I've actually told this person that they can leave several times. You don't have to stay here. It's my house. It's my house. It's my family's house. I'm not going anywhere. I shouldn't have to. But it's getting to a point where I'm going to, because it's just causing a really strange dynamic. And that's not even the, you know, this is something I've been dealing with for, like I said, 5 years. So it weighs, but just to give people an idea of like what I'm going through with my father's sickness, and you know, my sister and my brother going through what he's going through, and just, you know, nobody really wants to deal with me, but as soon as they're having problems, then I'm the one that gets dumped on. Oh my god. And then as soon as I open my mouth to say it's like, I'm like, oh, what the fuck just happened there? Like, you came to me with this shit. But then when you go to somebody with something, because they know you have a problem that you've admitted to, their immediate thing is to cycle through the many different, is this about this? Is this about... It's almost like, if it's not something I want to be bothered with, I don't want to be bothered with you. And that shit sucks. You know how many contacts I have on my phone? Probably 100. You know how many of those contacts I actually call? Maybe 5. And there are days when I call people, like, I'll really need to just hear someone say it's gonna be okay. That's it. I don't need them to talk to me for an hour. I don't want to unload on them. I just want to hear somebody say, you're gonna be alright, man. You'll be alright. You going through worse. But I don't always get that, you know. And I'm gonna keep this to a half an hour. I'm not gonna go over it. It's about 27 minutes, so I don't even know if I've stayed on topic. I don't know if I've helped anybody with anything. But it's just a day in my head. It's just a day in my head, and it's a day, and I can feel it now. I'm getting even more depressed. But I'm glad I was able to get it out there and talk about it and share it with everybody. I mean, I am open to anyone asking any questions about my mental diagnoses, things I've gone through in my childhood. Please, by all means, I'm an open book. I'm gonna die one day, and the last thing I want to do is die and people are like, if anybody comes to my fucking funeral, like, oh, well, that guy, he was a piece of shit. No, it's all gonna be out there. You're not gonna be able to throw no mud at me. You're not gonna be able to make me feel bad for any of the things that I've done, because I don't feel bad for shit I've done. You know why? Because it's who I am. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Even if you've done stuff that people say should make you feel ashamed. Look at the source. This is what we need to start doing. When someone says you ought to be ashamed of yourself, look at what do they believe in? What do they subscribe to? What is their way of life? Because if you subscribe to normal society, then you're more fucked up than I am. Because normal society thinks that it is okay to villainize, demonize, and scrutinize people with mental illness. To the point where some of them won't even get help, and then they end up being killed or doing crazy shit because they didn't get help. Like the man who shot up the place in Las Vegas. No, nothing. Oh, he seemed like a normal dude. Well, how do you know? Obviously, if he wanted to shoot and kill as many people as he could, he wasn't normal. And maybe he went and talked to somebody. But our assumption was, he's rich, he's white. What could possibly be bothering a rich white man? He has it all. Well, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. And no one will ever know what the fuck was bothering him. And to me, that's the biggest fuck you to the world. Is, I tried to tell you, you didn't want to hear it. Now look at this. And you'll never be able to answer the question why. Now, that's not to say that's what happened. We don't know. We will never know. Thank you all for joining me for another episode of Being Bipolar, Real Talk. I tried to make the subject acknowledgement. I probably got off. I will do another one today since I owe you one for yesterday. But I'm going to start going into telling some scary stories. So Thank you once again for joining me. And I appreciate it, guys. Bipolar Bandits, keep racket sight. Ugh. See, I tried to make a tagline and fucked it all up. And now I'm gonna feel like a piece of shit for like the rest of the day because it didn't come out right. And I don't even want to say it now. But I'm gonna say it anyway. Bipolar Bandits, keep rapid cycling. Keep it going. Don't let nobody stop you. I'm trying my best not to let nobody stop me, but I'm realizing that sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. And I know people hear, oh, you got to get out of your own way. Sometimes it's not you, man. Sometimes it really isn't you, but that is a very dismissive thing to say because it's meant to cast everything back on you and take it away from the people who have put you there. So sometimes it's not just you, dude. Sometimes it's not you that has to get out of your way. I've learned that it's not me that has to get out of my way. It's other people who don't want me to be me. They need to get out of my way so I can be myself. If I'm myself, I'm fine. If I don't have people judging me and putting me down constantly, I am fine. So don't let nobody judge you. Don't let nobody put you down. Don't let nobody put you in a box. Fuck their box. Fuck their box. Tell them to get in their own fucking box. Society. The fucking same society that let people freeze to death and let an electric company claim bankruptcy, but normal human beings can't. These are the same fucking people that judge us. Remember this. These are the same fucks that judge us. That say we're fucked up. I bet you $1 million your ass isn't gonna let somebody starve to death if you can do something. But we're the fucked up ones. I love all y'all, man. To all the squad up people, thanks for embracing me as part of the Kilo and Melisandre family. I greatly appreciate it. Bipolar Bandits. Hey, I can't even say anything about us that hasn't been said. Let's take the good shit that they say about us, though, and let's put that on the forefront of everything we do. Because we are great. We are creative. We are wonderful fucking people who love maybe a little too much. Who hate maybe a little too much. But we're normal people, too. We just feel. We feel. We're not numb. We have feelings. And they might be on our goddamn sleeve, but we've got them. So with that, I say adieu. Tune in for the next 12 episodes of Omen G's Stupid Scary Stories. I will be recording one, as a matter of fact, right after I'm done with this, so I can try to improve my mood. Thank you once again.